Hello future millionaires and welcome back to my channel. I am Kayla.K.Keane and in this video I'll be talking about the top 5 advice that I'll be giving you if you want to buy a house in 2023. Now, if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back to my channel. And if you are new, I am elated to have you. I call my subscribers future millionaires, so you are a future millionaire. Now, for those of you who are my returning subscribers, I'm sure you have been wondering, where have you been? And I've actually spoken to a few people on my Instagram account who have DM'd me. But for those of you who didn't bother to DM but you were wondering, I am doing wonderful, I am good. And I always say this, whenever I am absent from my YouTube channel, I'm usually working on something big in my personal life. So I've been working on a few amazing things. One of them you know about, and that of course is my business, Keane Digital Content Management. But apart from that, I've been working on some amazing personal project, and I'll tell you more about it later this year. However, let's get to the meat of the matter and talk about what we're here for. 5 top advice for buying real estate in 2023. Now, if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and keep watching. Thank you so much for staying, future millionaires. Now, the first advice that I would give you if you are planning to buy a house in 2023 or beyond is that you should be very careful if you are buying a property that is tenanted. Now, if you don't know what that means, it simply means that there are tenants who are currently renting or leasing the property. The reason why I would give you this advice is not because you are now the new owner of the property, that does not mean that the responsibility of the tenants dissipates with a purchase. So if you purchase a property with tenants living in there, they are not affected by the sale of that property and they have the right to continue to remain in that premises. So you will be subjected to the responsibility of either evicting the tenant if the tenant was there when you purchased the property, or to continue that business relationship. So if you are going to buy a property, you need to think carefully about whether or not you want the tenants to remain in that property. Now, you do have several options though. So if you want the tenant to remain there, then you can continue and look at the agreement that they had with the previous owner and you can adjust it to your liking. Or if you don't want to do that, you can ask your lawyer to help you to acquire the property vacant. So as long as the tenant is living there, that property cannot be sold to you because you don't want to purchase with the tenant there. Or if you do choose to purchase with the tenant there, you can make it the responsibility of the previous owner through a legal clause. You can allow them to have that responsibility of getting that tenant out of the premises by simply letting your attorney know that and let them write that in the sale agreement. Now, secondly, you need to be saving and investing if you intend to purchase a property. Now, just like anything else that is a big goal, it will take financing. And although you'll get a loan from the bank, for example, if you're going the mortgage route, you still need to have some money saved up for your closing costs, which will include things that you'll have to pay for example, miscellaneous fees, the cost to value the property, the cost to survey the property. So it's important to have money. Now, I know that sometimes it can be very difficult to know how much money you will need when you're going to purchase a property because certain fees can vary. For example, depending on the attorney that you choose to use, they will charge you a percentage of the sale cost. So you need to save up some money so that you can pay your attorney and all the other fees that you will have to pay. So what you need to be doing now, set a figure in mind, and my third point will help you with setting that figure. But have a figure in mind that you want to save up or invest towards. And then you're going to go ahead and make a monthly conscious decision to put away some money towards the purchase of that property. Now, I must add, in addition to that, that while you're saving and investing, you need to be very careful with the types of investments that you choose if you want to purchase a property. The reason why I say that is because when you're purchasing a property, you will need a high level of liquidity. So if you are going to say, for example, purchase bonds that will lock you into an agreement for, let's say, 3 years, you need to be careful about that and know that that might affect your goal. So if your goal is to purchase at the end of this year, for example, you have 1 year to save. So whatever investments you're doing, you need to ensure that they are liquid. So at a moment's notice, you can go to the bank and draw out that money to assist you with the purchase of the property of your choice. My fourth point is that you need to work on fixing and building your credit. Now, I know that credit is not a very popular topic for some Jamaicans, as it is in some European countries, for example. However, you might be asking yourself, how do I fix/build my credit? Now, one of the things you need to look at is how many loans you have already. So if you're just a regular person with a regular job, you need to close out as many or all of your loans if possible. And the reason for that is if you're going to take a mortgage from the bank, they have to give you the mortgage based on income that you already have coming in. So if it is that your pay slip cannot facilitate a huge loan such as a mortgage, then the likelihood of you getting a smaller amount than you would need, or not getting the loan at all because you don't have great credit, becomes very likely. So you need to focus on closing out loans if you can, as also fixing your credit. Now, you ask, of course, you're going to ask me, how can I fix my credit? And I did an entire video on that. It's on my channel, and I tried to link it up above so you can go ahead and watch that. Having a good credit score is very important if you're planning to take a loan or do any type of big business. So that is something that I would definitely advise you to do. Fix up your pay slip and definitely work on fixing your credit. Now, if you're somebody that does not have a loan, so you don't have a loan at all, and you don't owe anybody, your payslip is clean, it is very important that you continue to build your credit, because a lot of persons think that because you don't have any loan, you have good credit. But really and truly, what good credit is a history of how you repay loans or repay debt, how you service debt. So if you don't have any loans, you might need to take out, for example, a credit card, use it on a monthly basis to pay your bills or to do whatever that credit card is good for, because remember that every credit card is different, and I have a video on credit cards also. I'll try to link it here. Right, so you go ahead and use that credit card on a monthly basis and pay back, so the bank knows that you have a good habit of paying back loan, servicing debt, so that they can trust you to give you a big loan such as a mortgage. So that's point number 3. So point number 4 is that you need to definitely get a pre-approval letter, and you need to liaise with different banks and find out what your options are if you plan to take a mortgage. But before I go any further, I want to tell you also that if you can afford to buy a house cash, taking a mortgage is still not a bad idea, because you could reserve your cash and use the bank's cash and then invest that money and make even more money, as opposed to spending all that money and leaving yourself with less money, no investment, or things of that sort. Now, getting a pre-approval letter, if you are Jamaican living in Jamaica and you are an NHT contributor, you want to get a letter from the NHT, a pre-approval letter from the NHT, because they will give you up to 6.5%. Well, actually more than that, depending on the situation, but that is the number that they normally, advertise or announce. So you can get up to that amount in a loan from the National Housing Trust at a significantly less interest rate than the money that you're going to get from the bank. So get a pre-approval letter from the National Housing Trust, get a pre-approval letter from the bank of your choice or from several banks so that you can weigh your option, and then that will inform you about how much money you need to save. Because, for example, if you want to have, say, 10% of your money set aside for the closing costs and the house is $18 million, that's the cost that you are pre-approved for, so you know that you can buy a house for $18 million, it now tells you that, okay, I need to save X amount of money, or it tells you that, okay, I don't want to take the full amount as a loan, so I need to save 20% or 25%, whatever it is that you want to do. It is very important for you also to do a comparison between banks, because some banks have higher interest rates than other financial institutions. So don't just get one pre-approval letter from one bank and say, yes, this is it, and I'm going with that bank. Shop around, just like if you were purchasing clothing or purchasing a car. You wouldn't just go to the first car mart and say, yes, this is it. You would definitely ask for 100,000 Jamaican dollars off, or you would go somewhere else to see if you can get it at a better rate. So if you can get a better interest rate on the mortgage, why would you not want that? You definitely want that. So shop around. Point number 5 is that you should pay for home inspections. Now, I'm sure some of you, especially those of you who are very frugal, don't like to spend money, you're wondering, but this sounds like extra money that I'll be spending. Now, yes, it is extra money that you'll be spending, but that's why one of the points was to save, and invest if you plan to purchase real estate. The reason why I'm telling you to do your home inspections is because that, although it is spending money, it can actually save you a lot of money. Now, most of you who are watching, you're very honest. So if you're selling a property and there's an issue with the property, you would say to the person, hey, I have a plumbing issue with this property, or there is electrical issue, or the roof is leaking, or I have breached a part of my covenant. But not everyone is straightforward. And furthermore, I personally believe that while they owe you the obligation of being honest, they might not be honest. So let's not trust anybody's word for anything. This is business that we're doing. Let us pay to have the inspections done ourselves. Now, there are certain things that you can do when you're purchasing a home to know ahead of time if something is wrong. Say, for example, if there's a plumbing issue and it's really bad. If you flush the toilet, you can see that the water doesn't go down easily, and you can know that there might be some plumbing issues there. Maybe tree roots have grown into the lines if it's an older property, or so on. However, leave it to a professional. I'm sure that you would not go to a mechanic if you were sick. You would go to a doctor. And it's the same thing when you're purchasing a house. We have valuators who are trained to give you a correct estimate of what a property would cost. You have surveyors who are trained to know when there's a breach of the covenant and things like that. Do not skinge on these things. You need to spend your money and find out that the property that you're trying to purchase, find out if it is in order and if everything is fine with it. So I would definitely advise you to do home inspections. Imagine you buy a property that has some electrical issues, and because you want to be frugal and not pay for an electrical inspection, then the entire property goes up in smoke one day when somebody simply turns our light bulb on. We can't afford to lose millions because we want to save thousands. So it's wise to get all of those things done. Now, those are my top 5 advice for buying a house in 2023. Let me know if you have any advice of your own in the comment section. But also, do not go before you like the video, leave a comment, and if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting on? Please go ahead and subscribe. Share the video with a friend also, and I'll see you in another upload. But before you go, here are some other interesting videos on the screen.